All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual who put together quite the impressive win at BYB 14 Carolina Brawl, and that went down on December the 9th. A knockout victory over Nick Villar. Very happy to be getting some insights from Ewell about all that there. And yeah, man, just wondering how you're feeling on this nice day here.
I'm feeling great. Feeling really great. Granted, I probably wanted a little bit more time in the triangle, but hey, if I'm able to constantly having short nights like that, that's freaking perfect, and put on a show for the fans or for the people that are able to watch it. It's all goes. So with the victory, I went to Disneyland, took my kids and my boy and my new love interest and her kids to Disneyland and enjoyed that. So I'm happy.
Yeah, it seems like a great time for sure. I mean, back-to-back first-round finishes in two different sports with, like, MMA and now bare-knuckle boxing. I would think you'd be, like, very, confident riding, like, a pretty high wave of momentum. Not that you wouldn't be confident in another situation, but good way to end off the year, it seems like.
Oh, definitely. And if I was able to slide in another one, that would have been honestly perfect, But truth be told, I am definitely excited because, everybody already knows I was in this awkward slump in 2021, and it kind of like broke me and everything. But it was me trying to find basically the perfect response, and my perfect response was me using my hands, So thank you for BYB, bringing me in. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and kind of an interesting situation, like you mentioned there. It's like maybe would have been good to get a little bit more time out there competing, but I mean, a sub 20-second knockout is really great for the highlight reel too. So kind of an interesting fight in that sense. It seems like there's probably a couple different thoughts there. Like, how do you, I guess, what's the big takeaway from it? Are you mostly stoked that you got like a highlight reel knockout in that kind of way, or would it have been good to at least get like a round or two in the Trigon?
Nah, if I'm able to keep it short, that's my thing. I am the guy that's going to put on a show in the first round. Don't get me wrong, we can play that whole long game, longevity type of game, but reality, if I'm able to keep everything short in one simple thing, it's a go. It just means I get to basically we come back and fight a lot sooner than later. Long fights means longer waits of having the chance to respond. And like I said, I'm one of those type of people. I'll fight, and if I'm able to fight the following day, I would. So it just ended up turning out as what's more my cup of tea, and my cup of tea is violence, So me, honestly, having a short night is good, but as long as that short night is putting on a show for the people to be able to smile on, So clearly, I don't want people opponents that are just going to end up quitting on the situation. But at the same time, if I'm able to go in there and show something basically spectacular with one punch, then I want to do it. I want to be like the Deontay Wilder in the bare knuckle type ordeal, or the Roy Jones in the bare knuckle. And I'll say more Roy Jones because I'm a huge fan. He had his long, awesome career and made him who he is. I enjoy it. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I guess I was just wondering, too, because I was seeing some other interviews, before you made the BYB debut, and it seemed like you had some question marks about the Trigon before fighting in it. I guess I was thinking maybe you wouldn't have got that, comprehensive feel of what it's like to fight in, the tighter kind of Trigon dimensions.
No, I'm definitely with you. It's just kind of funny because when I got in there and they said 20 seconds, it was 7 seconds. The last punch was 7 seconds, you feel me?
Yeah.
But, when I was in there, I'm going to be real, it just brought me back to how I felt or how I was back in my days, because I fought a lot. What I ended up saying or telling people, growing up, it was for us to survive, for us to move, for us to honestly get to school or get back from school was us fighting. It was a lot of fights. Bullies always wanted to test, and then the gang-related type ordeal, and stuff like that. Where I was, where I grew up, before the guns and knives started getting approached or brought in, it was more hands. You had to fight. So it brought me back to that, a little bathroom stall type. I'll meet you there, or you said something about my mom. I'll meet you after school type ordeal. So Triangles kind of brought that up. It brought back some histories where I'm home. I guess you could end up saying.
Yeah, and I mean, quite the life story for sure. Like I was seeing in a different interview, you were talking about like going from like being homeless to being like a UFC main event featured talent and stuff like that. So I would think like some of the life experiences there and like what you were kind of just talking about would really help galvanize the mental game for something like bare knuckle boxing.
Oh, definitely, definitely. For the whole thing, it's just, you know, you want to entertain and you want to put some, you know, put a show on for people, and that's something that I was always about. Like, one thing that I felt like I was missing in UFC was the chance to putting on a show, because, you know, when the whole COVID stuff happened, everything kind of like shut down. He goes, everything kind of like shut down and kind of like put a place in a pause. You know, like there's no fans, and then they started inviting people, but they're not saying anything. It's like those that, you know, they're not. It's the people that was invited are not tuned into the fight game. They're just there because, hey, publicity, or hey, I'm famous and I get to sit down and like the whole Apex and stuff like that. But I'm a crowd pleaser, and so it's like one of those things. Like bare knuckles, guaranteed to put on a show for the people, you know. Or when everything starts getting back to normal, and on top of that, they kind of gave me a little freedom that if I'm able to fight in the cage fight, they'll let me type of deal. So it's kind of like, you know, I feel like it's the perfect direction for me to put on a show, put on something that that the people end up loving, and at the same time end up gathering even more people or more fans that love violence and love the art of violence. So it's a win.
Yeah, for sure. So we could see you competing in bare knuckle boxing and mixed martial arts in 2023, potentially.
Oh, yeah. They're going to let me do both. I'm going to knock out both for it. They said I can. I'm going to do both. So I'm going to keep it entertaining. I'm going to keep myself busy. The matchmaker, Mel, he already knows where my mindset is. It's like, yeah, I want to get back to the top. So anything, if they lead me back to the top, then there it is. And that's where we're going to end up going. And I feel like every day that they build, I'm going to be part of that. So I'm pretty happy with it. What's that? Hello?
Oh, hey, yeah, you kind of cut out for a brief second, but you're back there, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah. What was the last thing that led off on, do you recall?
You were just kind of talking about how, like, if they would let you fight in MMA this year, you'd be looking to kind of do that going forward as well, but also looking to grow with the company, too.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, that's one thing. Because right now, BYB, they're known, you know, they're building, and I'm about to be a part of that. And I know they have big news coming for 2023, and I'm going to be a part of that. So, anything to get it up to the top, you know? And I feel like they're the one that opened up the door and gave me a chance. And that's something I got to honestly appreciate and show nothing but love to. Don is an awesome person. Everybody that's been part of the company, or that is part of the company, when they brought me in, it was kind of like, you know, home welcoming. Like, they know, like, oh, Dre, you know, you have a name and everything, you know, and we're here to push that. And that's the attitude, and that's what I honestly needed. So it's like a win in my books for there.
Yeah, for sure, and I mean, well positioned too. Like, I mean, you said like had a multi-fight deal signed and everything like that. So, is there specific goals you have mapped out for 2023 within that deal there? Like, I would think like capturing a title would probably be in there, but any specific plans?
Oh yeah, that was one of the things they brought that up, a title fight. So that's definitely on in my future thing, probably the third fight, give or take. Mel kind of like chopped it up with me as what we're trying to do, and Don also like put me in like the right direction of what we want. And so if I'm able to fight basically either January/February is what I'm aiming for. I kind of want to, oh, actually not kind of, I want to fight 7 times next year. I lost a lot of money this year, and all this year, or all 2023 is all about building back my money. I want to end up cashing out. I want to be a cash cow type of deal. I want people to end up knowing my name at the end of the year. And I want them to know that Andre is a vicious type of fighter, and he still has it. And he went back into his, what we call it, back to his inner self to bring out his inner beast. You know, it's one of those things. If you're the same, what would Kobe said? If you're a beast, you got to be the same beast, but a different beast at the same time. So there you go.
Yeah, well, I love that. I mean, definitely like an ambitious kind of track that you've mapped out there, like 7 fights, but you were talking about like the name value before and stuff like that, like in signing with BYB. But speaking about names, it seems like the nickname got switched up from Mr. Highlight. It seems like you're going with Dragon Fist now. Like, where did this new nickname kind of come from? Like, what was the origin of that?
Well, it was one that was always with me. I'm not the guy that has like 90 different names. How you doing, sir? I have like 90 different names. That's like one of those things, and I'll probably even fight somebody for one of their names. It's gonna be like one of those, like, hey, you got a cool nickname, we got to fight for it. Winner takes all type of a deal. But hold on. Sorry, we're out here in the streets today.
Yeah, no worries.
The Dragon Fist kind of, it was there when I was with, or signed a sponsor deal with Dynasty. So, MMA Dynasty, or, So when I ended up signing there with them, it kind of like resonated there, which is probably 2016. It's just that I kind of like left the names out for the UFC, and they all picked Mr. Highlight. Granted, I didn't really like the name, but since the fans picked it, I kind of ran with it when I got signed to the whole UFC and everything. So that was a fan's choice, but they forgot that there was Gaethje that actually had that name already. Justin Gaethje. So since he had the name, it was kind of like, hey, I'm trying to like get out of it, but they never let me out of it. So we sat there with it. What's my name? Andre. Yes, sir. Andre Ewell. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. I'm taking a picture right now. My bad.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Cool. Stop, bro. Yes, man. All right, so that would probably be first part of the interview. He took a selfie with a fan. That's very cool. That's where it is. My apologies.
No worries. That's fun, man. I love how accommodating you are with the fans coming by and stuff like that. But yeah, you've always been like a very exciting kind of fighter and whatnot. I saw you had a post a bit ago, though, where you were saying you fought an opponent with one arm for 14 minutes and 45 seconds because you had a broken ulnar bone. Like, what fight was that happened? And I would think you would be able to take a lot out of a fight like that, just in terms of like your mental resolve and how much you're able to dig down and everything.
That was against Jonathan Martinez. That was in Texas, Houston, Texas, under John Jones' card versus Alex Reyes, I believe. Or not Alex, but Dominic Reyes. So off on that fight, literally first kick that he threw, he broke it, like snapped it in half, and I didn't know, or I felt it because the adrenaline wasn't like pumping, and then it followed up on suit where I ended up he ends up kicking again, and when he ends up kicking it, it was like, all right, this is for sure broken. That's kind of like gave me out like the alerts of, hey, your arm is gone. So it really ended up fighting that whole fight, and drilling kind of kicked in, and that was me trying to finish it, but it was me finishing it with one hand. You can like literally watch the fight, and I was like kind of like slapping with the right hand instead of like balling up or whatever the case is. And the crazy part about that fight, it was if I would have both of my arms, that fight would have been finished in the first round. But things end up moving in that direction. I'm built different. That's just how it is, and that's just how it has always been. I've been built a different type of vibe. I have different, basically a different mindset when I end up walking in there. So in reality, it's me finishing it, and that's just how it looks. That's just how it looks, or how I ended up like pushing it. I don't like leaving things up to the judges, and like I stated, like I was in an awkward slump when I got to the UFC, but it was up and down. But that kind of ended up answering because the fact is that I ended up losing my drive when they took away my rights from my child, and it was kind of like being in this awkward limbo. And but this year, earlier this year, I figured it out. And my new answer is my child that I have that's in my life right now, June. So it kind of all built from there.
Yeah, it seems like you're in a good place in a lot of regards. And I guess one of the last things I kind of wanted to touch on, because you'd previously captured the CES MMA bantamweight title, how much would it mean to your career if like everything aligned kind of with the plan you were talking about, and in your third BYB fight you capture a different championship in a separate combat sport? Like, how much would that kind of bolster your resume and everything like that, do you think?
It'll end up putting me back on the stock, because it'll end up showing people that I'm still me and I'm doing even better, or, I figured it out. Because at this moment, when I end up losing my job, like I said, everything was at the wrong time. And my mind, it was destroyed. And it brought me back to my 2000 and, between my 2013 and through 2015 era of, depression, and it brought me there. But the thing about me is, like, I will end up trying to figure it out. And I ended up figuring it out. And BYB opened up that door for me to figure it out. So now it's like, again, it's just a step by step. So me end up earning that belt. That belt is going to be meant more to me than all the other belts that I had, if that makes sense. Like the CES belt that I had, Gladiator belt that I had, like those belts were good, It was like, it was driving me into something else, because, but that was different journey, if that makes sense. It was a different journey for me, and I accomplished it. I made my goal was to make it to the UFC. That's what I did. But then it got flushed, and I got lost, and then now it kind of came into this moment where, what is next? And now here I am trying to get back into, where I want to be. And BYB opened up that door, so here I am doing this.
Yeah, I get what you're laying down in that sense, and a very exciting time in what has been, very exciting career so far. And I want to be mindful of the rest of your schedule and let you get back to the dinner with the fam there and all that, man. So to that point, is there maybe anything you might want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up, Andre?
Yeah, just want to end up saying, for all the people that end up giving me that chance, thank you. And, that list ain't that big. It's the family, it's the team. Team Icon MMA. Everybody, BYB, thank you for opening up this door. And, and my message that I end up telling all the people that gave up on me, once again, all the ones that gave up on me, I apologize, but y'all continue to suck it. There it is, DX style. They know how it is.
Yeah, good to end it off with some Shawn Michaels vibes there, and if the debut is any indicator, I'm sure the BYB fans will be hugely entertained all throughout 2023. So to reiterate, thanks for coming on and giving some great insights there, Andre, and you have a good rest of your day too there, man.
Likewise. Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.